Okay, so we're gonna be doing Christopher Nolan reviews, and we're talking about Inception today. Um, I think this was. I think a lot of people knew who Christopher Nolan was after The Dark Knight, but I feel like this was the movie that really put him on the map, and everyone's like, Christopher Nolan, whoa! Because this movie blew everyone away, because it is just too good. It's too good. Um, So, if you don't know what the movie's about, you should just go watch it. But basically, they have this device where they can go into people's dreams, and they usually are doing that to find out information about things. And then one time, they decide they need to try and get into someone's mind to put an idea in their head. And at the beginning of the movie, they don't even know if this is even going to work. They're trying to get into this one guy's head to keep him from uh, moving his father's business forward because his father just died. And I don't know exactly what the details about the business is, but it will cause a lot of problems if he decides to make this a business decision. Um, so they try and go into his brain and his dreams, um, and plant it in there. And there's a lot of rules you got to follow. Uh, when you get into the dreams. And for some people, it gets really complicated for them, and there's so many rules that it loses them. But for me, I found it really interesting trying to learn the rules of the dream. Now, the only other negative I can really think about this movie um, is that when they're in the dreams, there's these people that will attack them, and none of them can hit anything. It's so ridiculously bad how of aims they are. Like, they're seriously like 2 feet away from them and they couldn't hit each other. That, like, just the fact how bad they were, like, took me out of the movie. They were worse than stormtroopers. Um, so the score in this movie is great. One of the best scores, just so dramatic and really intense. Hans Zimmer has the best scores when he works with Christopher Nolan, because the score here and the score in Interstellar are great for the movie. You know, not ones that I necessarily want to listen to other times, but they work perfectly for the movie. And all the performances are pretty good. I'm not a huge Leonardo DiCaprio fan, but he's really good in this. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is good. That one girl from like Juno, remember? I don't know her name. She's good. Why do we never see her in anything anymore? She was good. Um, the production design in this movie, the sets and the places they're at are just beautiful. They look so good. I'm pretty sure it won the Oscar for that. If not, it was at least nominated. And if it wasn't nominated at all, that's just a crime, because these sets are like just wow. Um, and now we're gonna talk a little bit about the cinematography. The cinematography is great. The lighting, just the way it was lit, just I can't explain it. It just set the mood perfectly. And everything looks so clear and it just looks really good. And the fact that it's shot on, I'm pretty sure it's shot on film, because Christopher Nolan like really likes shooting things in film. It it looks great on film. And there's never like that shot where it's like, oh, that's like really beautiful, you know, there's a nice sunset, whatever. You know, shots like that are great, but for every shot in this movie just worked perfectly for what they were trying to show, what they needed to get across. Every shot just fit perfectly. Hey, don't do that. Sorry, I'm watching my niece. So the cinematography was just perfect for the movie. You know, it like I've said other things, it's not like the most beautiful looking movie, but yeah, at the same time it is, because it fits the story so well. And this is like at least 2 hour movie. I think it's a little bit. I think it's about 2.5 hours, but it goes by so fast. The pacing is so good. just the editing in general, it they were able to create so much suspense. Mostly when they're in the dreams and they're in multiple layers, and they got to get stuff done before they get woken up in the last layer, and the way they edit it makes it very intense because you see him right here almost doing something, and you go back and you see him almost getting woken up. It's perfect. And so now some movies, they try and do like two stories at the same time, but it doesn't always work. Like you're either more interested in one story and not so much interested in the other story, or the two stories combined just you can't focus on either of them, so you end up just getting confused. But this movie does the two stories at the same time perfectly. I cared about both stories, and both stories complement each other perfectly. So that was great. Oh crap, I only got 3 minutes left on my memory card. Yeah, one thing about this movie, it kind of talks about is you choosing your own reality. Because, some people, they don't want to accept what's real, and this movie kind of deals with that. They just want to live in a dream world. They don't want to, face real life. And that movie, especially, when you see at the end, spoiler, when he spins the top and you don't know if it really fell over or not, but he walks away. He doesn't even care if it's real or not. People in the story. Oh yeah. But yeah, and probably one of the coolest things too about this movie is that scene in the hallway. They got a real hallway and turned it around in real life, just all the practical stuff. This movie is almost perfect. I mean, there's a few plot holes that here and there, and there's a few things, you can nitpick this movie a lot, but just overall, everything was done so well. There's nothing so big, the things wrong with it are so minor that you don't even care because it's such a great story with such great characters and so well made. It's just one of the best movies of all time. The only reason I don't think it's put like in the top 10 or even 20, it's probably deserves somewhere around that because it is newer. But in like 10 more years, 20 more years, this is going to be known as a classic. So check it out if you haven't seen it, and that's all I got to say about that.